Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have a ton of updates to go through with Venezuela. I am filming this on December 1st, so all information is up to date as of December 1st. Trump reportedly gave dictator Nicolás Maduro one last ultimatum, one warning. Say, if you leave now, we will spare your life. You will not be killed. If you don't leave immediately, all bets are off. So not only that, we've got the Russians reportedly are fleeing the country. They are continuing to lock down more airspace. There is a ton to go through here, and I can't wait to get into it with all of you. So this is a crazy situation. It continues to heat up. Before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. Get active in the comments. Let me know how you think this is going to unfold, how you want to see this unfold. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that notification bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. Instagram, David_Hookstead, XDHookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out with whatever you got. And in the video description and in the pinned comment, you can find the link to our exclusive new membership tiers. Please check that out. I kept them super affordable so everyone can participate. I'm very excited about it. Now, let's get into it. We have watched steadily this situation between Venezuela and the United States continue to get ratcheted up, the pressure increase, the situation continue to race towards some inevitable military conflict as the United States has made the decision that the dirty, disgusting dictator, Nicolás Maduro, he's got to go. Not only has he pushed drugs and criminals into the United States of America, but he also serves as a launching point for the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, the Cubans to have more influence in our hemisphere. What does the Monroe Doctrine say? The Monroe Doctrine makes it very clear the United States of America will never tolerate foreign adversaries having influence in our hemisphere. So this is about a lot more than just the drug boats that are being blown up. This is about making sure our enemies do not have a foothold in our hemisphere. That is the big picture objective. So the United States has built up a naval armada, pretty much surrounded Venezuela. We're flying bombers down there. We have an aircraft carrier down there. We have thousands of troops down there ready to rock and roll. And everyone wants to know, well, when is this situation finally going to kick off? Well, this is some very interesting reporting from, by the way, got a new flannel. Hope you guys like it. I'm very excited about it. This is some reporting from the Miami Herald. It says White House gives Maduro ultimatum as U.S. moves towards land operations. It says as Washington prepares to launch land attacks inside Venezuela, a long-awaited phone call between the White House and Caracas aimed at diffusing the crisis carried a blunt message for strongman Nicolás Maduro. You can save yourself and those closest to you, but you must leave the country now. Sources familiar with the exchange told the Miami Herald. The call, which the New York Times reported took place last week, quickly reached an impasse as it became clear that the two sides' positions were far apart. Here we go. Washington demanded that Maduro and his top allies leave Venezuela immediately to allow the restoration of democratic rule, while regime leaders proposed handing political control to the opposition but retaining command of the armed forces. So they're pretty much saying, yeah, we will this is what Maduro offered up. I'll step down or I will give up political control, but I'm keeping the military. I'm staying in control of the military. Well, if you stay in control of the military, whoever controls the military controls the country. That a fifth grader could figure that out. So in no world is the United States going to tell Maduro, oh, yes, you can control the military, but you just won't be president. He would just then be the de facto unofficial leader because whoever controls the guns controls the show. We all know this. It says, according to sources, the U.S. message to Maduro was direct. Safe passage would be guaranteed for him, his wife, and his son only if he agreed to resign right away. The conversation unfolded amid growing signs that the Trump administration is preparing a more assertive phase of operations targeting Venezuela's so-called Cartel de los Sols, which Washington says is headed by Maduro and other top officials. Washington has long accused Maduro and his top allies of running the cartel. In 2020, the Justice Department indicted the Venezuelan president and more than a dozen officials, calling him a regime narco enterprise. The U.S. has placed a $50 million bounty on Maduro, the largest reward ever for the sitting head of state, and $25 million for the ruling party strongman, Diosdado Cabello. If I'm mispronouncing that, let me know in the comments below. And then right here it talks about how on Thanksgiving, President Trump said strikes on land would start, quote, very soon. Obviously, those strikes then mean on land inside Venezuela. So Maduro has been told the only way you can get out alive, the only way you can guarantee safe passage and you can go live your life in exile somewhere is if you resign immediately. Anything short of immediate resignation, and we cannot guarantee you don't go down in a massive fireball when this kicks off. So Maduro wanted, I can't believe he has to keep control of the U.S. military. That is, sorry, not the U.S. military, that he has to keep control of the Venezuelan military. He's like, well, I'll give up political power, wink, wink, but I'm not giving up the military. I'm keeping the weapons. I'm keeping the guns. And obviously the United States immediately said that's never going to happen. You got to go, and you got to go right now if you want to save your life. While this is happening, put this up on the screen, the Russians reportedly are evacuating their citizens from Venezuela. Now, they have like 120 soldiers in Venezuela. They reportedly now are evacuating their citizens out of Venezuela. Why would you do that? You would do that because you believe that massive strikes are going to start and you don't want your people there. So they are saying that they are going to arrange flights, special flights, to get all the Russians out of Venezuela before the war kicks off. And then right here, some more details. It says Russia and China have abandoned Venezuela ahead of a possible U.S. operation. At the peak of its confrontation with the United States, Venezuela has effectively lost the support of its main allies. The Wall Street Journal reports that neither Russia nor China nor Iran is prepared to intervene despite years of anti-American rhetoric. The network of Caracas's allies is falling apart. Cuba, Iran, and Nicaragua are too economically weak. Russia is bogged down in the war against Ukraine, and China is focused on its own domestic problems. Moscow and Beijing are trying to build relations with Trump and do not want to spend political capital on Maduro. For now, they're limiting themselves to symbolic support, little more than kind words. Analysts believe that if the United States decides to use force, no one will come to Venezuela's aid. I tend to agree that no one's coming to Venezuela's aid. Now, we know Russia has shipped them some level of weapons, some level of air defense systems, but past that, it is hard to believe that Russia is going to want to come in and try to fight a war with the United States to save Nicolás Maduro. I personally do not see that happening. Number one, we know the Russian logistic lines are weak. They couldn't even save Bashar al-Assad in Syria, where they had actual planes, troops on the ground. They were conducting missions, and Assad still eventually fell, right? So now they're going to come all the way to South America and save Nicolás Maduro. No chance. The Russians know that they can't do it, won't do it. So that is, and China can't either. So China and Russia are literally letting Maduro go down because they know there's nothing in their power they can do to save him. Speaking of going down, we have another air closure. A NOTAM has been issued, restricting all general non-commercial aviation over Venezuela's southern border due to military operations until March 1st, 2026. So they are issuing another warning that the airspace over Venezuela is going to get very violent, very dangerous, and they don't want to risk civilians getting caught in the crossfire. And this comes right after President Trump tweeted this over the weekend, kind of catching everyone by surprise. He said to all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So he hopped on X over the weekend on Saturday. So again, I'm filming this on December 1st. Hard to believe we're already in December. Hopped on social media and said, airspace over Venezuela, if you know what's good for you, you will stay out of it. We are closing it down. He was then asked about that. Put this up on the screen for you. Give me 1 second. He was then asked about that on Air Force One on Sunday about Venezuela and the airspace restrictions that are going into effect. And let's watch what President Trump had to say.
Mr. President, on Venezuela, can you tell us more about why the airspace above Venezuela should be considered closed?
Because we consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They send millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problems. And drugs.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
The New York Times.
So right there, President Trump just said that he doesn't want people to read into it too much. What does this remind me of? What happened before we struck Iran? What happened before the bombs fell on the Iranian nuke facilities? Trump was essentially playing a deception game publicly, saying one thing, talking about negotiations, and then boom, he just hit them and we moved on. Seems like he's getting ready to do the same thing here, being like, the airspace is closed. Don't read into it too much. Not that big of a deal. And then lo and behold, he is ready to obviously start launching cruise missiles. Speaking of which, we've got the USS Gerald Ford. This comes from Southern Command, showing so we had fighter jets in the air over the weekend off the coast of Venezuela. Venezuela also put their fighter jets in the air. So they were both countries were flying jets. So this comes from U.S. Southern Command. An F-18A, an F-18E Super Hornet aircraft approaches the flight deck of the world's largest aircraft carrier, Ford-class aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford. U.S. military forces are deployed to the Caribbean in support of Operation Southern Spear. So we continue to fly fighter jet operations around the clock off the coast of Venezuela. And then right here, the Ghost Ship. Now, we all talk about the JSOC Ghost Ship quite a bit. We talk about the secretive MV Ocean Trader, which can carry up to 160 Tier 1 operators. Obviously, that is a whole lot of ass-whooping capability on one ship. It says the MV Ocean Trader bat. So this was from a little less than a week ago. So we're going to share this because it's the information to where it is since moved, but this was the last known location. It said MV Ocean Trader back on the grid, spotted on November 25th, 2025. MV Ocean Trader can be seen sailing alone 25 kilometers southwest of Isle de Mona near the Dominican Republic. She's fairly close to the edge of the satellite image, so she could have an escort to the east. So that is the known location of the MV Ocean Trader. JSOC's black operation ships where they can launch operations via boats, helicopters. It is disguised as essentially a cargo vessel, so it has a very low signature, very low footprint, very hard to find, and it is lingering in the region with, who knows what's on it? Who knows what the plan is, but it is in theater, ready to go. So I'll pull this down now. This situation, as I've said before, all the data, all the signs, all the evidence clearly point to the United States taking significant military action against the regime of Nicolás Maduro. That, to me, is obvious, and it should be obvious to anyone with eyes. We are getting ready to hit these guys probably in overwhelming fashion. You have President Trump telling Maduro, you got to go. This is your last chance. This is your final warning. If you don't go, we are going to take you out. If you don't go, the regime is going to get blasted out of power. That's just the simple reality of the situation. And at the same time, you've got fighter jets in the air. You've got the Russians who are fleeing the country. China's not coming to help. President Trump is announcing the airspace is closed. This situation, yet again, is getting ready to cook off. So I will continue to give you guys the updates as they roll in, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this situation? What do you think about the fact the Russians are fleeing, the airspace is being closed, and we have troops and planes constantly on the move in the region. Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XDHookstead. That's where you can find me. My DMs are wide open. Check out the membership options linked in the video description and the pinned comment. I'll see you all next time.